Have you ever locked eyes with someone across a room and felt, in that single silent second, an entire conversation happen without a single word being spoken? It's in these fleeting, almost invisible moments that the most profound truths about human connection and attraction are revealed. We live in a world obsessed with the obvious, the grand gestures, the clear-cut signals. But the real magic, the undeniable truth of what someone is truly feeling, is almost always hidden in the subtle, subconscious patterns of behavior that play out in the very first moments of an interaction. This is especially true for understanding the complex and beautiful landscape of female attraction. A lot of men operate under the assumption that they can instantly tell when a woman has been without intimacy, without that essential closeness, for a significant period of time. They look for some glaring, obvious sign, but the reality is far more nuanced, infinitely more fascinating, and it speaks directly to the incredible depth of the female psyche. The truth is, you won't find the answer in a checklist of overt actions. Instead, you have to learn to listen to the quiet music beneath the words. You have to become an observer of the spaces between the sentences, the energy that surrounds a simple hello. When a woman has been in a season of solitude, a prolonged stretch without genuine intimacy, her greetings become a masterclass in psychological disguise. They're a beautifully complex dance of desire and self-protection, of longing and caution. Her behavior in those first critical seconds of seeing you is where her unconscious mind takes the wheel, orchestrating a performance designed to both reveal and conceal what's truly happening beneath the surface. It's not a game. It's a deeply human response to vulnerability. And if you know what to look for, you can learn to understand the silent language she's speaking. Let's talk about the first pattern, which is the woman who greets you not with a simple hello, but by immediately launching into a story. You approach her, and before you can even finish your greeting, she's already saying, "You are not going to believe what just happened to me at the grocery store." Diving into a detailed narrative about a quirky character in the checkout line or a bizarre item she saw on sale. On the surface, it seems like random, excited chatter. But psychologically, this is what's known as displacement. That moment of direct, face-to-face greeting, especially with a man she feels a spark with, can generate an intense wave of emotional and nervous energy. It's overwhelming. So, rather than sitting in that charged, vulnerable silence and acknowledging the tension directly, her mind cleverly sidesteps it. She creates a bridge made of words, a story, to carry the interaction across the awkwardness. The story itself is almost irrelevant. What matters is its function, to capture and hold your attention, to anchor both of you in a narrative, thereby avoiding the raw, unscripted energy of a simple, direct hello. In the psychology of attraction, these impromptu stories are like little life rafts. They're her way of controlling the flow and pace of connection, of building rapport and familiarity without having to expose the nervous excitement she feels bubbling up inside. It's a protective mechanism that allows her to connect with you without feeling like she's plunging into the deep end too quickly. Then there is the second pattern, which is a shift towards extraordinary, almost formal politeness. This isn't the warm, relaxed, "Hey," you might be used to. Instead, it's a measured, "How are you?" delivered with sustained, direct eye contact, a still posture, and a pause that feels heavier and more significant than a normal pleasantry. At first glance, you might mistake this for her just being well-mannered or perhaps even a little distant. But the underlying psychology reveals something much more profound. Exaggerated courtesy often functions as emotional armor. For a woman who hasn't expressed or experienced desire in a long time, the act of greeting a man she's attracted to can feel like opening a door she's kept closed for a while. That politeness is her way of creating a safe, structured, and predictable space within the interaction. It keeps the potential for raw attraction from spilling out too obviously too soon. It's a container for her vulnerability. So, what looks like cool etiquette is actually a careful, unconscious strategy to manage the flutter of nerves and budding interest until she feels more secure and reads the situation better. That polished greeting is less about her personality and more about her attempt to keep her true feelings contained and manageable. The third tell is perhaps the most electric one, the accidental touch that feels anything but accidental. It happens in a flash, a light, fleeting tap on your forearm as she laughs at something you said, or her hand brushing against your back as she passes you in a doorway to say hello. It seems casual, almost forgettable, but its timing and precision are impeccable. Psychology explains these micro-touches as direct outlets for built-up tension and a deep-seated need for connection. When a woman has been without physical closeness, her unconscious mind will often seize upon the greeting ritual as a socially acceptable moment to bridge that physical distance. The gesture is subtle and deniable, which makes it safe. But it is also profoundly telling. It's a spark test, a way for her to gently introduce physicality into the interaction and gauge your reaction in a way that feels low risk. In the intricate dance of attraction, that tiny, seamless touch is like a lightning strike. It's a nonverbal way of saying, I am aware of you and I am opening the door to more. Fourth, pay close attention when her greeting comes packaged as a series of questions that don't actually require real answers. Did you find the place okay? Was the traffic bad? Is it still raining outside? These are filler questions. She isn't genuinely inquiring about your parking experience or the weather. She is using these questions as a tool to buy herself a moment of composure. Studies in conversational psychology show that such questions proliferate when internal anxiety is high. That simple hello can feel massively amplified in her mind, carrying the weight of unspoken interest and anticipation. This small talk is her anchor in that storm of nerves. It's a way to soften the edges of vulnerability, to create a buffer of mundane conversation that allows the interaction to move forward while she works to steady her own emotions and heart rate. Those quick, logistical questions are less about gathering information and more about regulating the intense energy she feels simply from being in your presence. It's her attempt to normalize a moment that feels anything but normal to her. The fifth pattern is a noticeable energy mismatch. Imagine walking into a calm, quiet coffee shop, and she greets you with the explosive enthusiasm of someone seeing a long-lost friend at a surprise party, big gestures, a brilliantly wide smile, a voice slightly louder than the environment calls for. Your initial thought might be that she's just in an incredibly good mood. However, psychology frames this behavior as compensation. When a woman has been deprived of intimate connection, her nervous system can essentially overcorrect. Faced with the stimulus of someone she's attracted to, her internal tension and excitement can manifest as this external burst of high energy. It's not that she's trying to be overwhelming or fake. This heightened brightness is a cover, a camouflage for the nervousness she feels inside. She is compensating for her inner vulnerability by projecting outer confidence and enthusiasm. This kind of greeting is less about the actual setting and more about her attempt to balance the scales between the nerves she feels and the confident impression she wants to make. The energy is a telltale sign that her internal world is alight, and it's spilling out in the only way she feels it safely can in that moment. And finally, the sixth and most powerful pattern, the prolonged eye contact that arrives before any words are spoken. This is the silence that speaks volumes. Picture the moment she sees you. Her eyes find yours and they hold. It's not a blank stare. It's a deep, connected, and slightly lingering gaze that happens a heartbeat before she finally says, "Hi." This is not disinterest. It is the absolute opposite. In psychological terms, this is a version of a freeze response, a brief moment of heightened anticipation and processing before action. After a long period without intimacy, that first moment of connection with someone she desires can trigger a small wave of suppressed feeling that rises to the surface in an unguarded instant. In that silent pause, her guard is down. The social script of a quick greeting is momentarily suspended, and what you get is a pure, unfiltered look at the attraction and interest she feels, but isn't yet ready to voice. The greeting itself might be simple, but the silence before it carries the weight of everything unspoken. That lingering gaze is a doorway directly into her emotions, and it is one of the most authentic and powerful signals of attraction there is. Understanding these patterns is about more than just decoding behavior. It's about developing a deeper sense of empathy and connection. It's about recognizing the vulnerability and humanity that drives these subtle signs. This is just the first layer of peeling back the complex onion of attraction. If you found this glimpse into the silent language of attraction fascinating, just wait until we dive into how women communicate when they are not just interested, but actively desire and are ready to move things forward. The signals are different, even more powerful, and they will completely reshape your understanding of confidence and feminine energy. If these insights resonated with you, if they made you see past interactions in a new light, then do me a favor, tap that like button below, because it truly helps me out. Let me know your thoughts and experiences in the comments. I read every single one and love starting that conversation with you. And most importantly, if you want to continue this journey and learn more about the hidden layers of dating dynamics and human psychology, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell. This is just the beginning, and I can't wait to share more with you.